morning, everyone. You're welcome to yet another exciting edition of Your Business on Rave TV. And of course, I'm your host, Cyndy Ezeh. I hope we all had a restful weekend. I hope we are still trying to survive these very unusual times. Now, today we are going to be looking at the law and SME businesses in Nigeria. Now, there are certain relationships, there are certain laws and contracts that bind your relationship with the government, your relationship with your employers or your employees, your relationship with your partners. So we're going to be examining some of those laws and how they affect you, especially some parts of these laws that are not so conversant. Then also in our SME segment, we have an exciting guest. Now, this our guest, she decided to go into the use of fruits and vegetables to cure ailments, to prevent ailments, and also for healthy living. So we're going to be interacting with her during the course of today. But before we get into those segments, we are going to go to our business news. But remember, when it's time for the interaction and all that, remember that the phone lines are going to be open. So we expect your questions, we expect your contributions. We need to know what you think about the subject matter, especially about the business law, because I know that you have some questions, you have some scenarios, you have come across some things in the course of your business, especially as regards Nigerian law, that you need to understand. So we're going to give you the opportunity to do that when that time comes. Up next is our business news. Please stay tuned. Welcome back. It's time for business news on Your Business. On the local scene, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo outlines measures to revive the economy, boost SMEs. Yemi Osinbajo, Vice President of Nigeria, said the Muhammad Buhari administration will formulate policies to aid local production of goods while also creating the requisite environment to aid local industries. He said the administration plans to invest in the housing sector by building 30 million homes for Nigerians in 5 years, while the labor and raw material will be sourced locally to create jobs and boost local industries. Osinbajo further said that the federal government was planning to boost the power sector by investing more in renewable energy, liberalizing the sector to encourage private investment, in whose tariff will be self-driven. Nigerian pension funds see plunge in new accounts as jobs dry up. Nigeria pension fund managers have seen a sharp decline in the number of new retirement savings accounts as employer cut back on retirement. Businesses, especially manufacturing firms, have largely been shut down since April after the country imposed movement restrictions. Over 40,600 new pension accounts were created in February, but that number dropped to around 30,000 in March and virtually disappeared in April, an indication of a slowdown in the number of new jobs. Mr. Wale Okunriboye, head of investment research at Sigma Pensions Limited, has said that the drop in numbers is as a result of the company cutting down on hiring. And lastly, on the local scene, Japan Oil changes name as it test markets 27 billion naira offers. Japan Oil and Maritime Services PLC will change its official name to Japan Gold and Ventures PLC at the forthcoming 15th Annual General Meeting, which will come up on July 29, 2020. Business activities that will be deliberated include the raising of the company's share capital from 6 billion ordinary shares to 60 ordinary shares / preference shares, as well as the authorization to raise the company's equity capital by additional 27 billion naira by rights issue, public offer, or private placement. On the international scene, banks rush to borrow record 1.3 trillion euros at negative rates from European Central Bank. The European Central Bank are issuing loans to the tune of 1.3 trillion euros as the latest monetary policy drive to boost liquidity in the Eurozone's coronavirus-stricken economy. The ECB said that 742 banks had applied to borrow 1.3 trillion euros under its main refinancing scheme, which will lend them money over 3 years at rates as low as -1%, providing they meet certain thresholds. And finally, on the local scene, Coca-Cola to invest $17 million to support African countries in COVID-19 fight. Coca-Cola, a global soft drink brand, says it is committing $13 million to support the continent through the various phases of the COVID-19 pandemic, and $4 million through its Coca-Cola Foundation to international and local NGOs such as the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies, IFRC, and Armed Health to procure and distribute personal protective equipment, PPE, and other critical needs for frontline workers, and to help fund ICU-enabled ambulance. This is all for the news. Please stay tuned for stock market reports. Thank you. Market report for close of business Friday, 19th June 2020. A total of 174.68 million shares were traded on the floor of the stock exchange in 3,695 deals with a total of 2.01 billion naira valuation. The all-share index went down by 0.43% to close at 24,826.75 basis points. Total equity capitalization stood at 12.95 trillion naira. For the sectorial indices, the oil and gas sector went down by 0.05%, the banking sector index went down by 0.22%, the consumer goods index went down by 0.21%, the industrial goods index went up by 2.67%, and the insurance index went down by 0.14%. The top gainers on the floor of the stock exchange are Bua Cement. It gained 2.6 naira to close at 44 naira. Total gained 1.4 naira to close at 97.5 naira. MTN gained 0.6 naira to close at 116.1 naira. FBNH gained 0.2 naira to close at 5.3 naira. WAPCO gained 0.2 naira to close at 11.2 naira. The top 5 decliners on the floor of the stock exchange include Dangote Cement. It lost 9 naira to close at 130 naira. Okomu Oil lost 3 naira to close at 64 naira. Dangote Sugar lost 0.5 naira to close at 17 naira. UACN lost 0.2 naira to close at 14.3 naira. And Custodian Insurance lost 0.2 naira to close at 7 naira. For the different sectors, in the consumer goods sector, the 3 top gainers are Vitafoam, Flour Mill, and Nigeria Breweries. They each gained 0 naira. For top decliners, still on the consumer goods sector, Guinness led the top decliners by going down at 0.5 naira. Dangote Sugar also went down by 0.2 naira. For the financial services sector, the top gainers include First Bank of Nigeria. It gained 0.2 naira. GT Bank gained 0.05 naira, and UCAP gained 0.05 naira. The top 2 decliners are Custodian Insurance. It lost 0.2 naira. Sterling Bank also lost by 0.1 naira. For the health sector, the only top gainer was May & Baker, and it gained 0 naira. The only top decliner was Nimet Pharmaceuticals, and it lost 0.17 naira. For the industrial sector, the 3 top gainers include Bua Cement. It gained 2.6 naira. WAPCO gained 0.2 naira. Qtix gained 0.16 naira. The only decliner was Dangote Cement, and it lost by 9 naira. For the oil and gas sector, the top gainers are Total. It gained 1.4 naira. Jahol Oil gained 0 naira. The only decliner was O&O, and it declined by 0.05 naira. On the international scene, for the American index, the Dow Jones index went down by 0.8%, S&P 500 index went down by 0.56%, and the Nasdaq Composite Index went up by 3.07%. For the European market, the FTSE 100 Index went up by 1.1%, DAX went up by 0.4%. CAC 40 also went up by 0.42%. In the Asian market, the Shanghai Composite Index went up by 0.12%. The Nikkei Index went up by 0.55%. That's all for the stock market report.
Get more information and updates on raveng.tv. Follow and interact with us on our social media platforms using the handle @RaveTV channel. Also subscribe to our YouTube channel @RaveTV. Download the Rave TV app on iOS, Windows, and Android to view us on the go. Rave TV. So exciting.
Welcome back to our SME Corner. Now, our guest for today has been using fruits and vegetables to cure sicknesses. She is into healthy living, using fruits of different kinds and, of course, vegetables. And she has been doing this almost all her life. Mrs. Ogechi, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Now, Ms. Ogechi Nwagbo is the CEO of Victory Organics, and she's with me today in the studio. You're welcome again, ma'am.
Thank you.
Nice to have you.
Yes, sir.
Now, it's interesting to know that we can use fruits and vegetables, to live healthy and also to cure different ailments. So how did you start doing this, especially commercializing it?
Okay. I said this long time ago. I discovered it's a passion that is inborn within me. I try to find out why people are sick and what I can do for them, most especially with fruits and vegetables. I love nature a lot. God has put in so many nutrients in our fruits and vegetables. He has so much designed it in such a way that we don't even have to wait till we fall sick before we will start taking care of our health. The fruits and vegetables we take will help us stay healthy. So over time, I've been using it on people, my neighbors, my even strangers on the road. When I pass them and I notice that they are not feeling well, I stop them and talk to them. Some of them comply, and then we go into the treatment. There are so many benefits with fruits and vegetables.
Okay. So what kinds of illnesses now do you use it for?
Virtually all illness.
For instance, malaria, which is the
Malaria,
yeah.
dysentery,
Okay.
even cancer.
You also use it to
Yes,
cure cancer.
yes, every kind of ailment. Because the thing is this, God has so much designed it that those nutrients will help you stay healthy. It will build your immune system. And when your immune system is built, it takes care of whatever it is that the body is going through, even stress.
So how do you plan? For instance, you have a patient who has malaria.
Yes.
So can you tell us some of those leaves or vegetables or the mixture, how you do it?
Like our citrus fruits is very beneficial. It's packed with a lot of vitamin C. And you know vitamin C will help raise your immune system. It will help take care of the oxidative stress in the body. And when that happens, you see yourself being relieved. Our common scent leaf, the vegetable we use for cooking, is very good. It's very good for malaria.
So you have recipes for each person?
Yeah.
You have a dose,
yes.
so to speak?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so what's your customer base like? What's the response from people? How have you been able to commercialize it? Because it's one thing doing something as a passion, and it's another thing having to put it into commercial use. That is making profits from it. So how have you been able to convert it into profit?
Okay, like I said a long time ago, and after a while, I just felt I could do this commercially to help more people.
Okay.
So what I do is I relate with my customer. I make them understand why they should use fruits and vegetables to take care of themselves. I let them know that if they take it, they don't have to fall sick. So I follow them one-on-one. First of all, I have to place the person on detoxification.
That's the first thing you do.
Yes, to cleanse the system.
Yeah.
Because when the system is cleansed, you have a high probability of getting healed. Then you take in those nutrients from the fruits, from the vegetable. You start building your immune system. You see yourself feeling better. You see yourself sleeping better.
Okay.
Then all those effects from stress after work, You don't so much feel it.
So do you prepare the fruits for them, or you tell them what to go and get from the market?
When I can, as in the person is very close to me, the person can come to me, I do it. I prepare myself and then show the person how to do it. Then subsequently place the person on a routine diet that the person should be going through. But when the person is far from me, I give guidelines from the phone.
Okay.
So we communicate day to day, and I know how the person is progressing.
Okay, so how do you get your fruits? Especially I know that fruits are always in and out of season.
Yes.
So how do you get them when they are not in season?
At any season, there are fruits that you can use at any season, because that's how God has planned it. That when one fruit is going out of season, another one is coming in. So it's not just in one fruit you get what you need for a particular illness. There are so many of them, fruits, vegetables.
So for every season, you have a recipe that you can make out of the fruits that are available for that season.
Yes.
Okay. Now, I also want to ask, is it possible for someone to stay healthy, just eating fruits and vegetables without eating any inorganic food?
It's very possible. It's very possible. In fact, that's the best.
So how do you get things like protein and these other sources of
Yes, protein and all those other sources that we want are in our fruits and vegetables. That is the way God has planned it. The protein we need, the carbohydrates, all those things we need are in our fruits and vegetables.
So what are some of those, for protein now, especially for protein, what are some of those fruits that contain?
You have your avocado. Avocado is packed with a lot of protein. You have your vegetables like broccoli, cabbage, all those ones. You have a lot of nutrients in them.
Okay. So what has been people's response? Because I know in this part of the world, we want to eat our regular food, our rice and, and all that. We want to eat our mala, gari and all. So how has people's response to what you do been?
Just like you said, we all want the cooked food. But when they come to realize that, they've tested it, they've seen maybe the first 2-3 treatments or what you give to them, and they see a lot of difference in their health. They say, we didn't know that this thing is like this. That is very good. And you see them coming and then maybe bringing more people as they come.
Okay, where do you see yourself in the nearest future?
I see myself helping a lot of people out of their ill health. Help them stay healthier. They don't have to wait till they fall sick before they now do what they should do. So I see myself helping a lot of people to be healthier just by taking fruits and vegetables.
Wow. Thank you so much, Ms. Nwagbo. It was very interesting having to know that I can sustain myself on fruits and vegetables. I can eat healthy, and of course I can become better for it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
You all heard from her. Fruits and vegetables is the way to go. If you can, yes, you can sustain yourself with fruits and vegetables. And of course, you can be consistent, using it, because at the end of the day, you will avoid a lot of complications that come with eating the inorganics that we are so used to here in this part of the world. All right, up next will be our discussion segment. We'll be looking at the law and your SME business. Please stay tuned.
What time is it?
And it's a good morning to all our viewers.
Welcome to Morning Wave. Yes, we are ready to start.
Monday to Friday.
And this is your number one breakfast show, Morning Rave.
If my president wants to ruga,
people are supporting him, telling us stories, which is very wrong. That's what they do. What are you curtailing?
they want to hold on national grid.
As a writer, as an author, you want to strike from the beginning.
Welcome to my kitchen. This is your chef Amaka.
If you love to sing, you can be part of the choir.
Glad to have you guys join us back this morning on Sport Update on Morning Rave.
Nigeria today, it seems that we might be having a bit of a break in the atmosphere.
Some of them it was never when they were sitting. Get issues straight. I'm talking about when they were still sitting government.
This is Morning Rave.
Human beings are political by nature. Everything we say or do has political coloration. On Political Lens, we bring experts to analyze current issues.
This is a serious issue and laws must be obeyed.
The primary responsibility of the government is the welfare and the security of the people.
Sometimes it gets controversial. And sometimes it is conversational.
You cannot come here and embarrass us. This is impunity of the Ezeh.
Political Lens. It's all about politics. Showing every Friday, 5 p.m. on this station.
Get more information and updates on raveng.tv. Follow and interact with us on our social media platform using the handle @RaveTVChannel. Also subscribe to our YouTube channel @RaveTV. Download the Rave TV app on iOS, Windows and Android to view us on the go. Rave TV. So exciting.
Welcome back. Thanks for staying tuned. And welcome to the discussion segment. Today we're going to be looking at the law and your SME business. We're going to see what your relationship with the government should look like, what your relationship with your customers, your clients, your employers, your employees, your partners should be, especially as regarding the law. Some of us don't know some basic laws that we need to know that governs us, that governs our interaction with all the people who are of principal interest. So we need to look at all of that. And joining me to discuss this is Barrister Chinedu Osojiru. He's the principal counsel of Osojiru Chambers. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Good to have you.
Same here.
Yeah. So talking about the law, Barrister Chinedu, first of all, companies have to be registered.
Very well.
So we're looking at the registration process of companies. Before you get into any business, of course, in the corporate world, you have to be registered by the government. So what does the registration entail?
Very well. We talk about registration in Nigeria. The first thing that comes to mind is Corporate Affairs Commission.
Okay.
That is the body that sees to that. Then there's a legislative side of it is the CAMA, Companies and Allied Matters Act.
Okay.
So these are the two things that will come to mind. Then with regard to registration with Corporate Affairs Commission is in 3 phases. The first phase is the business name. Second phase is the companies.
Okay.
And the third one is the incorporated trustees. When it's business name, it has to do with the person itself. It can either be sole proprietorship or partnership. Then, in that case, the person and the business are seen as one and same person. That can also be that it can be seen too when the person is to pay tax. The tax you pay for yourself covers that your business because it's business name.
Okay.
But aside
so you don't
that
have to pay company.
you don't need to
tax.
pay. If you pay separate one, it will be double taxation. It will be tantamount to double taxation. When you are operating a business name, your personal tax covers your business name.
Okay.
But if it's not that one, the second phase of it is the companies. Companies can either be limited by shares or limited by guarantee or unlimited. Then generally companies can either be public or private. Public ones
including SMEs?
No, not SMEs.
Okay.
Okay. If you say SMEs are just small scale businesses, yes,
okay.
small scale businesses can be companies as well. They can also be business names. Business names can be companies. There are small scale businesses that are companies. Okay. Companies and business names, there's not much difference. The difference is just that, as I just said earlier, if it's a business name, it's one and the same with the person that is running it.
Okay.
But a company is different from the person that is running it. We have artificial legal entities. Companies are seen as artificial legal entities. The law sees the company as a body itself, which is separate from the person that is running it. That's why it's a company. So that brings me to what I was trying to explain before. It can
limited
be limited liability, or it can be limited by shares, limited by guarantee, or unlimited. Okay. Then the third phase of it, generally companies are either public or private company. Okay. They are private when it's within you, but it's public when the public can actually subscribe to it. They are the ones we see in stock exchange.
Okay.
But the private ones are the ones that public cannot subscribe to. You pretty much you determine who owns the company. But for the public one, anybody that has money can buy into the stock. That's the public companies. Then the third phase, after the business name and the company, the third phase is the one that we call incorporated trustees. Okay. So incorporated trustees, that's where we have churches, NGOs, and the rest. They are non-profit making organizations. So
basically, they don't pay tax.
So basically, doing business in Nigeria can either be in any of these three ones that I
Forms.
mentioned, either business name or companies or incorporated trustees.
Okay.
Any of the three.
All right, the phone lines are going to be open now. So we want to hear your questions and your contributions. We want to know what you think about what is going on, what we are talking about. We want to know what your confusions are. We want to know what your assertions are. So please call us and let's hear what you think about it. Okay, so going now to the things that bind, you know, because everything in law, we talk about contracts, everything is contractual. Now, for instance, for a relationship with an employer and employee relationship, what are those things that are supposed to bind them? You know, what are some of those aspects of law that they should be mindful of with that relationship?
Basically, business in Nigeria is contractual based, whether it's employer-employee or customer as in buyer or seller, as the case may be, you and the customer. They are all contract based. So if it's employer-employee, usually when the employer is to employ, there's usually the letter of employment.
Yes.
That's basically what governs that relationship. So it's employer-employee relationship is a contractual relationship. So the document that governs it is that your employment letter. So the employment letter states the do's and don'ts.
So are there particular things generally that the employment letter should have, you know, when it comes to the overall law in Nigeria?
The law actually,
the law.
The law actually allows you to choose what will be binding on you. But that doesn't mean that you should go outside the scales of law, so to say. But I wouldn't know exactly what you mean by, but what I'm trying to say in essence is the law allows you to choose what is binding on you. What is binding on you in this employment relationship may not really be what is binding on another person in another employment relationship. So what you choose what is binding on you.
Yeah.
But that thing to also state here that is also good for us to not forget is the fact that you cannot enforce a willing employer on an unwilling employee or vice versa. In other words, for the fact that is employment relationship between the employer and the employee, it suffices to say as well that if the employer or the employee is no longer interested in the relationship, any of them can chicken out. It shouldn't be a must relationship, so to say. So either party can chicken out. For that relationship to be binding, both parties should be willing. That's why there are sometimes that clients will bring matters to you and say, you employed me and we need you to help me remain in the organization.
The organization.
We say, no, you can't do that. You can't force yourself in the organization. Rather, you ask for damages. You ask for your entitlements, going by the terms wherein you were employed into the organization.
Okay, so, say for instance now, let me just help you out here. So for instance, part of the contract is that I'm employed at least for a period of maybe 1 year, okay? And maybe in the course of that 1 year, something happened and the company decides to lay me off. So am I, at that point in time, because the company has become unwilling, from what you have said, so they're not binding again on it, or can I pursue it
if you're employment
legally?
Contracts, there are some employment contracts, actually, there are some contracts that may be vague, but anybody that drafted that employment contract must have considered all these things before drafting it. So if your employment contract states that you should work for that company for a specified period of time, it's a fixed term.
Yeah.
So you need to work for that fixed time. And that employment contract, I know, will definitely create some rooms in case this one happens or this other one, in case of eventualities. So all those rooms, they should come into play.
So, but what they're trying to say is that it's not general, they are specific for every company and
the law allows you to choose your terms. It's not
for
general.
every relationship.
For any relationship, it's just purely contractual relationships.
Okay, so I just want to, in the course of your legal your legal work and all that, have you come across any of this? Because I know that usually we have issues when it comes to employer-employee and, you know, terms of contracts and what is binding and not binding at any point in time.
I just said that some clients will come to you and tell you that they laid me off. I really want to continue working with the organization. That's why I said now, you cannot force an unwilling employee, and you cannot force a willing employee on an unwilling employer, and vice versa. So for that relationship to continue, both parties must be willing. So in any way that any of them is not willing, there should be some remedies provided in the contractual terms that's binding them. So there should be some remedies provided in the terms, if actually the terms were properly drafted.
So it's not ambiguous, it must be.
It must be. Once the contractual terms are properly drafted, the person that drafted the contractual terms, which is likely going to be a lawyer, must have made rooms for any of the eventualities that may come up in the course of the stuff. There's another thing I forgot. With regards to the business name and the company and the incorporated trustees I mentioned earlier, people always have this challenge. They always tell you that actually business names can be registered independent of a lawyer.
You can register
on your
own.
You can register your own business name by yourself. Why limited liability? Why companies should be registered by a lawyer and incorporated trustees? Simply because there's a space that is provided for the lawyer to sign that you actually complied with the provisions of the law. That's just it. Though for the business name, why we also encourage you to use a lawyer is because I've had some clients that will come to me, I will advise them that you can do it on your own. They will go ahead and to do it on their own. But at a time, they will face some hindrance. They will still come back to you. So because the lawyer has been doing it often and on, so lawyer is already used to the terrain. So the lawyer will definitely do it perfectly well, more than you. But if you feel you're that smart that you can still do it by yourself, no law prohibits you from doing it by yourself. You can actually do it by yourself. But aside that business name, companies or incorporated trustees should be done by a lawyer or any other accredited agents of the CAC. So people that are accredited by the CAC are either lawyers, chartered secretaries, or chartered accountants.
Yeah.
So it's not every lawyer that is accredited. It's not every chartered secretary that is accredited. It's not every chartered accountant that is accredited. So you first of all need to qualify as a lawyer, then you apply to Corporate Affairs Commission for them to accredit you as accredited agent. So when you are accredited, you'll be given an accreditation number that will allow you to actually be their agent to help registering people.
Okay, remember the phone lines are open. We want to hear your questions, and we of course want to hear your contributions on what we're talking about. We're talking about the law and SME businesses in Nigeria, how they interact. What are those things that you're supposed to know regarding your relationship with all the key persons of interest in your business? So we want to hear your questions and also want to know what your contributions are. Okay, now enough for the employer and employee. Now what about your relationship with your customers?
Okay, relationship with customers are actually contractual too, as I said. In contract, we have offer and acceptance. So it's
offer and acceptance.
Offer and acceptance, that's what makes contracts. When there's no offer and there's no acceptance, there's no contract. When there's only offer and there's no acceptance, there's no contract. For there to be contract, there must be offer and there must be acceptance. These are some of the basic elements of a contract. So for your customers, for that contractual relationship to really be in existence, there must be offer and acceptance. So offer can either be from the customer, it can also be from you yourself, that is a businessman. So it can be from the customer when you display your goods or your services for the customer to patronize you. Then the customer makes an offer to you. I need these services or these goods as XYZ amounts. That's an offer. Then if it's okay by you, you now say, it's okay by me. That's acceptance. So once the offer is made and you've accepted the offer, that's contract. So it's binding on both of you. Okay. That's the contractual relationship we're talking about.
Okay.
But if the customer makes the offer and you say it's not okay by me, there's no contractual relationship. It's not binding yet. But when he makes the offer and you accept the offer, it's binding on both of you. Contractual relationship is said to have been created at that point in time. Okay. So for there to be that contractual relationship, there must be offer and there must be acceptance.
So is there any scenario, is there any way where you as a customer can, we can refuse the initial offer, acceptance that you made?
Very well. If you make an offer and it's not okay by me, I will say it's not okay by me, I will not accept it. So there's no contractual relationship. It's not binding on me. It means my goods still remains with me, or my services still remains with me. So it doesn't have any rights or any legal action over the goods. And when I say contractual relationship, it's in the sense that I have a service, or I have some services, or I have some goods that I'm actually selling off. So when you make the offer and they accept your offer, that's contractual relationship. Okay. At that point in time.
We have a call. Okay, sorry. Yeah, Joy. Good morning, Joy.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Joy. You're welcome.
Hello, good morning. I can hear you.
Okay, you're welcome, Joy.
Okay,
all right, what's your question or contribution?
Okay.
Okay, Joy, please, can you turn down the volume of your TV set so that we can hear you clearly?
Okay, I've turned it down. Okay, first of all, I just want to appreciate the lawyer for him.
I can hear you. Hello, Joy. Have you turned down the volume of your TV set?
Okay, I've turned it down.
Okay, go ahead with your question. Can you hear me?
Okay, first I want to appreciate the lawyer for his explanations. Before now, I never knew you can register your business name by yourself. I thought it's something a lawyer would always do. I never knew I can do it myself. But my question is, if I want to use the services of a lawyer to register my business name, like, how long does it take? If I don't want to do it myself, I want the lawyer to do it for me, how long does it take for him to do it?
Okay, thank you, Joy. Okay, thank you for your question. We'll get it answered right away. Thank you.
And how long does it take to register a business name?
Yes.
Presently, CSC is having some issues with their website. But before the issues came up, personally, I used to register business name within 3 days. I registered it within 2-3 days. So the CSC on their site, if you open CSC site, they will tell you if you submit an availability search on or before 2 p.m., they will respond to you that same day. So what I usually do, I submit my availability search. Availability search is what you search to know if the name is available. Because when you submit the search, they will check if it's available. If it's available, they will approve it for you. Then you go ahead and register. So they will tell you if you submit it before 2. So what I usually do, I submit it in the morning. So basically before 2, they will approve it.
The name?
The name. Once they approve the name, I go ahead and do my paperwork. Once I finish my paperwork, I oath it. You go to court and oath it, or you go to a notary public and oath it. Once you oath it and you attach everything needed, you upload. So usually if I upload that same day, they will approve it the next day. So I give them the benefits of that of 1 day to get it printed out. So if I do business name for you, before these CAC technical issues on their website, I do 3 days.
For one
so
person.
Definitely it will be out in 2 days, but I usually tell you 3 days. So once CAC, if I do everything that same day and upload it that same day, by next day it's likely going to be out, but I'll tell you 3 days so that the third day I'll give it in case of eventualities, so you can go and pick the certificate and deliver it to you. So same way it works for me as a lawyer, is also the same way it will work for you.
Yeah, I wanted to ask that.
Perfectly well
what
by
about
yourself.
the oathing you talked about and all that? How does an ordinary individual
The way it works is that business name, when you finish it, there's a space that the director, it's not director this time around, it's called proprietor. There's a space that the proprietor will sign. You understand? So that place he will sign, he's supposed to sign it before a commissioner for oaths or before a notary public. So you need to go to court. That's where we have commissioner for oaths. We also have commissioner for oaths in the Ministry of Justice as well. So you need to go before a commissioner for oaths, or you go before...
What type of courts? Any? Federal, state?
There are commissioner for oaths in both magistrate courts and the high court. But later CSC started saying that they don't take the one from the magistrate courts. So to be on the safer side, you go to high courts. Any high court around you, just go
and administer the oath.
And go and administer the oath. Let them just sign it before the commissioner for oaths. That's all. So once, or if you don't want to go through the stress of going to a court, you can also take it to any notary public. Many lawyers are notary publics. So you take it before a notary public and oath it. It's just to show that you actually signed this thing before a commissioner for oaths or before a notary public. If you can establish that, that's all. So you sign it, the commissioner for oaths or the notary public will stamp on your passport that is there. He will be sure that you are the one that signed. So once he confirms the same person, it will be stamped, and that's all. So whether you or the lawyer, anybody that does that, will go and scan it into the system, into the site of CAC. So CAC normally takes PDF forms. So you take your scanner, I have a scanner in my office, I scan it in PDF formats and upload to CAC sites.
Do I need to go physically? Because I've had some people complain that they spend a lot of time, there's a lot of queue when they go to the CAC.
Oh, that was before. Now, nothing takes you to CAC.
What about picking up the documents?
That's what I'm trying to say. Now, that was before that you used to go to CAC to file all those things physically. Now you do everything at the comfort of your home or your office. Everything is
for
digitalized.
Business name.
Whether business name or limited liability or incorporated trustees. CAC, everything is online now. The only thing that will take you to CAC office is to pick your certificates.
And how long does that take? Because I think that is where...
That's what I'm saying now. If it's business name, usually before, within 3 days, you are done.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, you can finish everything within 1 day. You can finish everything within 1 day if you're up and doing. But you just give that benefit of that like 1 or 2 days to enable them print your certificates out. Okay. So before, I used to give clients 3 days. But now, it's no longer feasible because CAC site crashed some weeks ago. Now I even have some availability that has been pending for some days, but before it doesn't used to be that way. So now CAC is not, their site has some issues now, of which we are believing God that they will come back normal. If they come back normal, normally it used to be 1 day you can finish it, but normally I give clients 3 days because of eventualities that may come up in between lines.
Okay, so still on the issue of the CAC registration and all that, what about what should it be costing the person to do that, from registering online to going to the oaths? I mean, somebody who is who has legalized to do that.
With regards to the monetary involvement,
yes,
it doesn't cost much. Everything is provided on the Corporate Affairs Commission website. Business name on Corporate Affairs Commission website, that's CAC website, is 10,000 naira. So you go and oath. That's what you pay to Corporate Affairs Commission. Then you go to oath. If it's in court that you're oathing, you pay a token to the court. If you're also oathing before a notary public, you also pay a token to the notary public to get your documents notarized or oathed before the Commissioner for Oaths. Then you upload.
Okay. Now, can I transit from one level? For instance, I registered as a business name. Can I get it into the limited liability?
Very well. You can. You can upgrade from business name to limited liability.
How easy is that?
Because...
What are the requirements?
That's what I'm trying to say now. Usually, I don't advise clients to do that. I always, if clients come to me and tell me they want to register, they have in mind to register a company, but they want to start with business name, I would advise them to get the money and do that company at once.
From the beginning?
From the beginning, because most times why they want to start with business name, because business name appears to be cheaper. So they will say, maybe we don't have the money to do this thing as a company. Let's do it as a business name for a start. Later on, I will upgrade to limited liability. But sometimes, most times I advise them not to. That's my personal experience. I'm talking personally now.
So you're saying that they should always start.
I advise you get your money complete if you want limited liability, do limited liability straight. Simply because of my personal experience that when you want to post-incorporation experience with CAC is not usually that fast, the way it is with normal pre-registration. That's when it's a new company or a new business name, it's usually faster when it's post-incorporation. So personally, I usually advise clients to go ahead and get their money and do the one they want to do at once. Because when it's post-incorporation, most times it's not that fast again. But whether it's possible or not, it's possible. You can upgrade from business name to limited liability. But I personally advise clients to make up your mind on the one you want to do and do that one once and for all.
So you must know where you're going to with your business.
Just go ahead with that one.
From the onset.
From the onset, go ahead with that one. But you can convert from one to another. But personally, it's my personal opinion. I prefer going for what you want at a go because of the delay involved in post-incorporation. But CS is promising us that they will soon start online post-incorporation activities. So until they start that, I think it will still be okay. But for now, they've not really fully launched online post-incorporation activities. It delays. So I prefer going for what you want at a go. And sometimes clients are ill-advised. They may not really understand that some businesses can actually run as a business name. You understand? So if they are advised properly, you can still start as a business name and continue with that. Nothing stops you from running two companies. You can have a business name, and when you are ready, you can still do a company as well.
With another form of registration?
Yes, it's okay. Nothing stops you. It's okay.
Okay. I want to take us back to what we're talking about when it comes to relationship with key persons of interest in our businesses. Now, if we have partners, for instance, there are some businesses that come together, two people coming together to form a business, three people, it depends on the agreement. Now, what should be the key things that associate or bind them in terms of the law? What should be the things that they should be looking out for as partners in the business? Because that's another form of business that is different from you being the sole owner of that business.
Okay. And if I got you properly, I think you're talking about partnership.
Partnership, yes.
Okay. It can also be seen in another way. Initially, I got you from another angle, but let me throw light on both of them.
Okay.
If it's partnership can be in form of business name. As I said earlier, business name can be a sole proprietor. And I can decide not to be a sole proprietor of my business. I can say, this business, I want to do it together with XYZ. So they will be co-proprietors too. So it's partnership. So there can be partnership in business name. It doesn't say stop it from being a business name. It's a business name, but there are more than one people involved. They are all partners in that business. Then there can also be partnership in companies. You understand? So in companies, just the way I said, companies are seen as artificial bodies, they are called artificial persons in law. That's why they are called limited liability companies. So the company is separate from the people, from the owners itself.
Yes.
So you can sue the company as a person. So in that case, now let me not derive from what you asked me. So in that case too, people, different individuals can come together to form a company. So it's a partnership. So it can either be natural individuals or artificial individuals too. So the document you look at most times is MOU, that's Memorandum of Understanding.
Okay.
So I'll say, these are the things I want. You say, these are the things you want. We check them out, and we agree on them, we'll sign. So it's all about compatibility. Do we have the same business ideas? So if it flows,
Between
it flows.
the partners.
Between the partners. But when it has to do with companies, when you're registering a company, there are some documents you prepare. You prepare article of association and memorandum of association. So memorandum and article of association is just like the guidelines that is guiding you.
Okay.
You understand? So one is internal, one is external. So that one can also suffice as that MOU. But in business name, there's no article of association, there's no memorandum of association. So in business name, you use your MOU that will be binding on the partners that are involved. But when it has to do with a company, you can enshrine all those things in your article and memorandum of association.
So in essence, we have to be law conscious. We must at least have a legal counsel to guide us through some of these processes.
Very well.
Very important.
I feel that's why the law has it that a lawyer should be involved in company, because company is a more cumbersome part. If it's a business, it's very straightforward. You just fill the forms and get all
Thank you
things
so much,
uploaded.
Ms. Barrister Chinedu.
Very well.
It was really informative having you today. I've learned quite a lot.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Too. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
All right, thanks everyone for listening. Thanks for tuning in. I hope we're all informed by that little bit, the law and your business. I hope you're able to understand what it means, the process involved from registration to knowing what kind of company you want to get involved in. And of course, when you have partners, knowing what kind of relationships you must have with them. Of course, what the law says with this relationship. And of course, always remember, always involve a legal counsel. Whatever decision you take regarding the law and your business, always make sure that you have somebody who is well knowledgeable in the law to lead you through the process. It's always very important. Okay, thanks for staying tuned. This marks the end of today's show. Join me same time tomorrow, same station, for yet another interesting and exciting edition. Until then, remember, your business is our business. See you tomorrow.